Alright, folks. Welcome to another league with Mono Green AmuLIT. Let's go. Playing against Gonzakap. Looks to have a companion. That hand was a bounce line away from being the nuts. But it's okay. This one's fine, I think. We're definitely keeping it. I guess we bottomed the bounce land. And this is very awkward. But my opponent's playing a Lurrus deck. And actually they might have Thoughtseize. So the way to play around Thoughtseize is to play Tolere West here. Because otherwise they can just Thoughtseize my green source and effectively just time walk me. So I'm gonna go turn 1 T West. Because we can't, I mean, we can play around Thoughtseize by playing, you know, bottoming the Tolere West and then playing Turn Timber first and then hoping to play the second one. But if they Thoughtseize my second Turn Timber, we get time walked, which I'm not excited about. Okay, so probably gonna get the Explorer. I mean, you laugh about it, Bossum, but I have done that. That is something that I have done multiple times. Castle is not bad. Oh, okay, so it's like one of the Jund decks. Basically, not having a fast clock is my opponent's deck's death sentence, so. Nice. Maybe I should have played around field. Unclear. Shadow Spear, okay. Pointing going hella deep over there. Scavenging news. Seems pretty bad. They're missing land drops too. So we're taking 4 here. Oh. I guess we're playing easy mode. I guess sometimes you just play on easy mode. I kind of feel like I want to protect my field from my opponent's field. Seems kind of unnecessary, actually. Nah, let's do it. Moody911, thank you for the follow. Nihil Spellbomb. Yeah, my opponent drew Scavenging Ooze, Nihil Spellbomb, Shadow Spear, all the cards that are meant for other matchups. It's weird, right? Like when you're playing a deck like Black-Green, you kind of need to be pre-sideboarded against certain matchups because otherwise you just cannot beat them. Like you're just basically 0% to beat them. Those, of course, are, you know, your Dredges, your, you know, like that kind of stuff. And then you draw your Nihil Spellbombs against AmuLIT and you're just, you know, SOL. But BB is a cantrip, the value. Yeah, Bailouts are pretty good, specifically in this matchup, right? Because my opponent has so many threats that are not Tarmogoyf, and Bailout just comes down, and it just they cannot get past it. Like it has to be specifically Tarmogoyf. And then we have Relic to stop the Goyf shenanigans from happening. You can Thoughtseize the top of the deck, etc, etc, etc. Yeah, this hand doesn't work. This hand doesn't work either. Going to 5 against a Thoughtseize deck is not something I'm excited about, but I mean, this hand works. This hand's very good, actually. Supposed to bottom the turf for sure. Let's bottom the Dryad. We might get Thoughtseize turn 1, so that sucks, but... In fact, they probably should take the turn timber here. J Bassard 12, thank you for the follow. Like if I were them, I would, yeah, I don't agree with that. I think I would have taken the turn timber there. If they have another Thoughtseize, I'm gonna be played, but it's kind of what it is. That's a Bob, and Bob is hella scary, so just gonna drop these explosives onto over here. Hope that my opponent doesn't have a Liliana. Thoughtseize kind of sucks. But if they Thoughtseize, that means that they don't Lily, so that's a fair trade, I guess. Put Lurrus in hand, okay. This is a very interesting turn. I think I'm actually gonna play Tracker here. They didn't have Lily next turn, so they should have to reveal it. Oh, they can't have Lily. They have Lurrus. What am I even talking about? Yeah, this is fine. I mean, they can trophy my Tracker, but I don't really mind that too much. Yeah, I missed I missed that for so long, which is funny. Like if you have trophy in your deck, you just have to trophy now. Like that's just what it is. You have to trophy my tracker and might as well get your 2 points of damage. So if my opponent tries to get like tricky or whatever here. We crack that. The main reason for that is to prevent my opponent from drawing a card. And so that I incentivize my opponent to Lurrus into Bob this turn, which means that I get to resolve Titan. Oh, fuck. Three Thought Seizes. The triple Thought Seize draw might get you. I'm gonna be honest. The triple Thought Seize draw might get you. But we're still in our favorite spot, right? We're still in our favorite spot, so. They did put a card on top, so maybe. They did put a card on top, so maybe what they have a trophy on top? Like the card that they left on top has to be an answer to Titan. Well, this is basically a forced play, so let's make it. Still in the same spot. If we draw a Titan, we win. They can't Ashiok. Okay. Am I supposed to bring in Dismember? I think what the plan is, we're supposed to not mulligan to 5 when my opponent has a triple Thoughtseize draw. That seems more like the real plan, you know? Mull to 5 is just not gonna work against triple Thoughtseize. This is a good hand though. Turn 1 Relic, 100%. Thank you for that follow, Groovy Dorito. I suspect that my opponent will need to eventually use a real card to answer this. Unless they have exactly turn 2 Bob. So what this does is it kind of prevents them from doing the bubble trick, right? Now it just puts them in an awkward spot. That's cool, that's cool. Okay. Play AmuLIT. Play Castle. Untap. F6. Field of Ruin. Okay, that is the absolute worst case scenario. That is the absolute worst case scenario. And I'm kind of freaked out now. Not gonna crack this relic just yet. I'm gonna try to squeeze a little bit more value. It might be getting to the point where I might have to, though. I'm gonna play Tulare West in case I draw exactly Simic Growth Chamber. Do I have this deck for Land Emperor? I don't like foiled agents, so no. I actively dislike foils. In fact, I will, if I have a foil card that I got because I needed it to play, I will go out of my way to eventually get a non-foil copy of that card. Like, I actually dislike foils. I hate having foils in my decks. Hehehe, got him. I really hate having foils in my decks, and I will always try to unfoil my decks whenever possible. Oh yeah, no, 100%. I have been really enjoying the alternate arts, like the full arts more than the alternate arts. Am I supposed to cycle this relic here? I think I am. I think we have gotten to the point where I'm supposed to cycle. I mean, I just cannot continue drawing blanks, right? Like, eventually I have to draw a real card. That's kind of a real card, but I think I'm gonna pact for Azusa. And we're gonna do Vesuva, copy your Overgrown Tomb, Radiant Fountain, and Valakut. And if this Azusa survives, if this Azusa doesn't die this turn, what we're gonna get to do is Field of the Dead, Sanctuary, Field of the Dead, get a trigger, Sanctuary, get a trigger, and then bounce Overgrown Tomb, and then replay Vesuva as a Field of the Dead, which should allow me to overwhelm my opponents. I mean, they do have explosives, which is kind of annoying, but sure. I'm okay with this. You would have Vesuvia, Greensword, and pass. If I do that and my opponent has an Inquisition of Kozilek, we lose the game. And I think that the likelihood of my opponent having an Inquisition is not particularly low. Well, that's pretty sick. I think that they have an Assassin's Trophy, but I also think that I can't play around it, so... We still get our zombie token. Surgical Extraction my field. Okay. Wishbone command was an instant. Yeah, I think that these effects in particular might be a little bit too good as an instant. I could field their field. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But then we can't. But then we can't Primal Command and Titan in the same turn. This is a tough turn. We can put a land back on top. That's kind of like the most obvious line. Just put a land back on top and get a Titan. Ife, no, thank you so much for the tier 1 sub. 19 months. 19 months. It's a lot of months. Thank you so much for all of those months. I appreciate your support. So... put this on top. Search for a creature. We could get a Baloth, but I don't think a Baloth wins the game, so unfortunately I think that we have to do this here. And I think I'm not blocking with Azusa, so I might as well attack. We just have to dodge exactly Thoughtseize. They're gonna reveal the Thoughtseize right here. Okay. They're probably sending a defense card on that last turn. It's possible. I think that my line is the best one though, because it develops my game plan so I can keep up with my opponents. Man, Relic would have been so insane if I didn't have to crack that Relic because we were blanking for so long. It's unfortunate. Two, three, four, castle. At this point, they just don't have Thoughtseize, right? Like, there's no way that I'm getting slow rolled this hard. That's just not cool. So I have to assume that there's no Thoughtseize. And they tap their field to activate that? Oh my. Oh my. So what we do is we get Valakut and Semi-Growth Chamber. Transmute. Pact. Pact. For Dryad. Try it. Copy Valakut. Face you. So now they're in a situation where they need to kill the Dryad, which means that my Titan gets to swing. So now they go down to 2 and they die to their Bob's triggers. Because we know that they're gonna die to their Bob's triggers, like there's no real question. Asusa MVP. Asusa did so much work that game. And that is something that is very easy to underrate. Decker CWB, thank you for the follow. There are some matchups where Asusa comes down, does what she needs to do, and then just like her being alive doesn't really matter too much. But then you have matches like this one where the added value, the incremental value that Asusa gains and the amount of value that it gives us over the course of so many turns just ends up adding up to a ton. So it's important to, you know, identify which are the matchups, which are the game states where Asusa is actually very good and where Asusa surviving it has a lot of value versus the game states where the opposite is true. For a while I was only running one Asusa. Yeah, I always think that like the second that Dryad got printed, like we are kind of stuck, right? Like we just have to play Dryad. Oops, we're playing against Sodek. Yeah, so I imagine that we're playing against oops, oh no. Is this Dredge? Huh. He might be back on Dredge. That's cool. I like Dredge and hate it. It makes the deck much, much better, but it makes it also kind of autopilot. I think it makes it a little bit less fun. I think a mistake weaker AmuLIT players make is not pacting for Asusa or Dryad aggressively enough on turns where they aren't casting Titan. Yeah, I mean, I think it kind of made sense to me to pact for Asusa there. Okay, so we can beat this. So they got a Thug, Loam, and Imp. Natty bug. The natty bug. Feels bad, man. Is it better to Gracer? Is it better to... I think it's better to Stacy. Yeah, Scout when we have the Natty Bog seems more valuable. So we did get rid of an Ox there, a Loam, which is nice. But if he has a good hand here, he might... Sodek said, what is this? And I said, is this new deck? It combos Samuel the Bigger with Ravnica Bounce Lands. I've been testing it, it's been pretty solid. Oh, it's just some good quality memes. Okay. So we're probably gonna have to do this again, I guess. So, what did they mill? They milled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's an imp. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Another imp. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 2 imps and one thug. I can't believe how we had an update and like they didn't fix this. That's such a stupidly easy fix. It really bothers me, honestly. Just realized that he's playing Bloodghasts. He had been off Bloodghasts for a while. Okay. So, how are we gonna do this? What is our goal? Triple Titan does literally nothing. Because I can't haste the third one. So I'm trying to think what's the best way to assemble lethal. We're gonna have one more land drop after this one. Plus the Stacy land drop. We also have to be mindful of the fact that there's battlements here. So we transmute for Pact. Pact for second Titan. With Valakut plus Vesuva. Can we Dryad here? If we Dryad here, we haste Titan, we get double Valakut, we get 2 Valakut triggers. He takes 4 because he can double blocks. He goes down to 21. We have 2 more land drops. We have 1 here, then 2. We get 2 Valakut triggers. That's 12, 18. Yeah, actually Dryad is better. Dryad is just better here. So we haste the Titan. We just had lethal, Big JC. Also, Cool Cat. Yeah, what you were saying is correct. Yeah, we knew the top card, so it was definitely correct for us to not fetch. We would be actively hurting our chances of finding a Titan if we did. So 1 of this and 1 of this. 1 Pact can go. 2 Explorers. Oh, oops. Forgot to cut the 3rd Explorer. 61 card special, let's go. Natty Bog. This hand loses to Blood Moon. It's basically impossible to know what list Sodek is playing because he just like changes things up so much and so often. So like I don't know if he's running Blood Moon. I don't know what he's up to basically. So You cannot Titan first Star Timber, no. Anywhere but in play, turn Timber is a spell. It's a sorcery. Imp, Loam, and that's it. No, Imp, Loam, and what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Imp and Loam times 2. Well, they have Ox, so there goes that. So the best thing that we can draw here is probably Azusa. Yeah, Azusa is the best draw. Yeah, if we find Azusa, I think I am ready to call it. Because if we find Azusa, that means that we get to just Primal Command for a Titan. Or we just get to replay Bully Bunch, which is also pretty fine. Sodek just got pretty loud on that bog trigger. Yeah, I've seen Sodek stream. He does sometimes get a little bit tilty. I mean, I did get pretty lucky there. I mean, I'm not going to argue with that. I did get pretty lucky there. So this next turn we get to Primal Command, we gain 7. Another Imp. Just going on the aggro plan, I see. Oh, we draw that. It's probably still best to Primal Command. And I think what we do is we gain 7 and we put this on top. Because I can Dryad, but I cannot Dryad and Primal Command, which means... Yeah. Yeah, it's just better. Yeah. Because otherwise we just lose to a removal spell or another chill. Gain 7, put non-creature permanent top of its owner's library. So target player gains 7, put that on top. No, I don't want to grab Azusa. I prefer Sodek to draw a blank there. We can't haste Titan, which is really unfortunate if you think about it. But we already have Tolaria West, so... So what we do here is we prime time, we get Bounce Land plus Radiant Fountain, we play Dryad, we replay Fountain. I just have to get out of getting cheesed out range, right? But we have, unfortunately, we cannot haste here. Yoo-hoo! Sorry, Sadek. Okay. Okay. This hand looks fun. It can go many ways. Why only 2 trophies? Because I am very, very good at going 4-1, and I'm very, very bad at going 5-0. I have a special skill for basically stacking my wins always in the worst possible order. Earlier, I think last month I went 4-1 14 times in a row. No, 12. I think it was, no, it was out of 14 leagues, I went 4-1 in 13 of them. That was the record. And my opponent with their foil reclaimer, which looks completely disgusting. I had a skill to go 18-2. That's a different skill. That's a different one. Okay. These are some pretty good sets of draws. I was gonna say we have to play around Path to Exile. Well, now we don't. Sup? Like I always like to say, Daddy's home and he's been drinking. Should have a trophy, but I didn't bring in Rex Sage against the Dracitron and lost an easy 5-0 to Ensnaring Bridge. But Cool Cat, Nephiel Impeding, thank you for the follow. Cool Cat, if you want to have access to a Cyborg Guard, all you need to do is you need to sub to the stream and then join my Discord. And that will never happen to you again. Because all the time you will be sideboarding like an absolute monster. Sideboarding like a beast. So if my opponent bats me here, we just don't care, which is nice. In fact, we time walk them because they don't get to activate Reclaimer this turn. Bath me, baby. Wow, I never thought about that one. Oh, that's awesome. That's a good one, chat. Okay. Usually my songs are shitty, but like that one's pretty good, right? I don't know, it just feels like it's pretty good to me. Is it? Or am I just being silly? It seems pretty good to me. Path me, baby. Right? So if the Reclaimer dies, well, the Reclaimer dies, so that's sweet. And if the Reclaimer doesn't die and they have another path, they path my Dryad and I get to go for another Titan Well, they're tapped out of white. 70% silly, 30% good. That's probably the best I've ever done with this, so I'll take that. Wow, friend, you have to truly become an AmuLIT Titan. Nice. Okay, so now that we did that, we can just do this. Puff me, baby. Okay, forces, please. Dismembers, please. That's kind of it. Cool Cat 06. Wow, Cool Cat. This makes me really happy because it means that my advertising techniques are actually working. Thank you so much for joining and welcome to the Primetime Stronghold. Let's go. Let's go. Thank you. Thank you for supporting the stream. Bug is medium in the matchup. Yeah, Bug is pretty medium. But I'm considering bringing in Field. Bug basically prevents you from getting locked by Ramiap Excavator. It doesn't happen very often, but it is something that could happen. Gracer sucks. My advertising was great. Awesome. That makes me happy to hear. Can shave one of these. Maybe one Explorer. Be honest with me though. Was it the advertising or was it the song? Because I'll take either one. This hand actually has some pretty good interaction and it has a Dryad, so I like it. Turn 1, Sacred Foundry. Okay. You've piqued my interest, OP. That probably means spoil. How is it for copies of Turn Timber Bean? Excellent. So now we can Azusa instead of a Dryad. We can play around. Boil very effectively, which is nice. We also have Mind Sensor covered, which is almost kind of the Mirror Breaker. So that's also very nice. Like this hand kind of has everything. Path me, baby. Oops, 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 oops. Whoops, never mind. We're good. Path me, baby. Bum, bum, bum. Path me. Whoa. I can play this Dryad, but I I think I shouldn't. Let's make it easy. As Reclaimer, should you bring in Boil against AmuLIT? Depends on what you want to do, basically. Like, as you can see right now, we are in a situation where it's very... Like, if the AmuLIT player knows what they're doing, it's really easy to play around that card. That sucks, though. But now that we drew this, we actually can play around Boil, okay? So I'm just gonna play the Dryad here. Because I can force my Dryad if I need to. Like, I wouldn't love to, but I will if I have to. So it was like a 1-2 punch, Cool Cat, huh? It was the advertising and then the song kind of put the nail in the coffin. I love it. The only problem about playing the Dryad here is now I kind of can't go for prime time because I need to hold up Force of Vigor. And I think that might be what my opponent is thinking about. Okay. This is fine. This means that I don't have to worry about Boil on my turn. Spring Bloom. Okay, this is fine. So now we're looking for any untap land, or even a bounce land just does it. Even bounce land just does it. Turn Timber! Turn Timber! Busted! So busted. It's a land that taps for green. Taps for green, oh yeah. Yeah. Guess I'd rather develop my mana here. Let's get a Rot Farm. Our opponent has Boil though, and they could have used it when I was tapped out, but then they passed the turn letting me not only untap, but I tapped the Gator Gust and won the game. Yeah, it's happened. I'm musical today. I've been musical lately, I have to be honest. Yeah, this is the problem. This is the problem when people bring in Boil against you. Again, I'm not sure that my opponent has Boil right now, obviously, right? But like Dryad is just so brutal that you kinda have to kill it on sight, which means that, you know, by default your Boil is not gonna do anything. So like if my opponent has a Boil in hand, like it's doing literally nothing right here, like actual nothing. Can you please explain why there is only 2 T-Ways in current list? It feels like something's missing in grindy games. Maybe it is hard to cut something else. So the issue with T-West is the fact that it's an ETB tapped blue source, right? So it's not very good by itself. So Tolari West was kind of, and sometimes it's hard to transmute because the mana in the deck kind of sucks. So Tolari West was kind of cut down to 2 when Field of the Dead was printed and people started playing more copies of Field of the Dead, because that enabled us to have a quote-unquote threat that we could use. Wow, that's not a good play from my opponent, because now they are actually just dead. Tap out for me, baby. Check out this volcano. So far, so good. So far, so good. But yeah, that's basically the point, Slew Maxi. It's the fact that The card is bad. Like, it's only there to chain Titans. And between Turn Timber, Dryad, plus Valakut, and Field of the Dead, you don't really need to chain Titans as much. In fact, very often, as we literally just saw, Titan is finding a Dryad instead of a Titan. So you don't need to chain Titans as often. And this deck can grind. Not being able to trade with mana traders is a big tilt after a 10-hour shift in retail. What do you mean, Albinko? Oh, because mana traders is down because of the new update? Yeah, I can't believe how poorly. No, but I got this from mana traders though. What do you mean? Are you sure there's not something in your settings? Oh, they disabled trades for the time being. Is that an MDGO thing? So I guess I got super lucky then, huh? I guess I got super lucky that I got to get my turn timbers before I started the stream. Oh, it's from Moto. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, Moto has been not doing well today. This hand on the draw, definitely a mulligan though. How do we feel about this one? This is a hand I would snap off on the play, but I think on the draw it might be a little bit too loose. My opponent moved to 6. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go to 5. Yeah, beautiful. Rewarded. So we keep, we bottom this, and we bottom Dryad. Look at this 5 right here, Chad. God damn it, is this that good? Mulligan properly, and you shall be rewarded. Temple Garland. Noble Hierarch. It looks like my opponent is just actively going out of the way so they can get the worst possible version of every single card. 4 Speeching Deputy of Detention. Oh, this must be the deck that did well over the weekend, right? The one that won the challenge or something? This was a terrible draw, by the way. Stoneforge. I really wish I have kept a Dryad now, right? Obviously. Would be so much better right here. They got Batterskull? Yeah, my opponent definitely going out of the way to get the worst possible version of every single card. So they have Batterskull plus Unknown. That Unknown could be a Path to Exile. I hope that it would be a path. Oh, it is a path? Well, this is glorious. Oh, yeah. And here we go with the classic. Path me, baby. Path me, baby. You get a lot that Heath art. Yeah, I guess the Heath is okay. What is this? Geist of Saint Traft. So the way it works, the mythical cyber guide, I love it. The way it works, Cool Cat, is you need to you need to subscribe to the channel. Then you need for your Twitch account to be linked to your Discord account, and then you wait a couple of hours, and you're gonna see the subscriber only channels. And once you find this, once you see the subscriber only channels, one of those channels is gonna say AmuLIT Cyber Guide, the other one is gonna say Green White Reclaimer Cyber Guide, and you of course can see them there. Okay, Geist, Hierarch, Stoneforge is what we got going on here. So I think I'm interested in Field. I feel like I'm interested in Rexage, and I'm interested in Dismembers. Maybe Force of Vigor, definitely Engineered Explosives. Grazer seems super bad, so let's cut it. Castle. I mean, they sure have Gusts. And they could have Mana Leaks and shit. I guess I'd rather cut Ghost Squatter instead of Castle in this matchup specifically, because I don't think that my opponent is playing Cryptic. Like, the main reason to play Cryptic Ghost Squatter against blue decks, it's because of the Cryptic lock. Ghost Squatter allows you to break it. So I think we're gonna go for that. Primal Command seems a little bit clunky, huh? It answers Sashiok though, so we probably want to keep it. Same thing with Tireless Tracker. Kind of want to cut one more land and bring in this Force of Vigor though. Let's just cut Bojuka Bog. Like, if they have Eternal Witness, whatever. Yeah, cool, cut anytime. Anytime. I like this hand a lot. Pog. Do you have the Force again? Oh, maybe they have Apparition. They could have Apparition. That would suck. Pass me, baby. Now it's gonna be stuck in my head. Damn it. What did I do to myself? What did I do to myself? Oh no, Damping Sphere. How can I ever beat that card? Like, ever. How can I ever beat a Damping Sphere? I guess I don't want it. Yield unto your end step, I guess? Stoneforge. I think I'm gonna really hold on to this Dismember right here. So we're gonna have Titan Mana next turn, huh? I kind of don't care about this Damping Sphere, right? I really feel like I don't care about this. I guess I kind of do, because it slows me down by a full turn. Yeah, it slows me down by a full turn, okay. mana leak. Okay, good to know that they are indeed playing counter magic. Like that going at the Sage instead of my prime time is a huge deal because it would have been really hard to play around that mana leak. Noble Hierarch. Like it made sense, like they didn't attack with the Hierarch, right? So it obviously made sense that they had something. Damn, Francisco with a tier 1 sub. That is 21 months, Francisco. Thank you so much for the continued support. Welcome back once again to the Primetime Stronghold. Do I want to dismember here? Kind of don't. Not bad. Not a bad draw at all. If they counter this, that means that they time walk themselves to play the Vader Skull. And now we get to draw a card on end step, which is nice. Tracker was actually a very solid draw right there. Been pretty low on Tracker lately, but definitely showing why she's such a great gal right now. Quite a timely top deck. Ugliest Batter Skull of all time. Like, what is this even? Like, what is this thing? What is this thing? Like, what is it? Let's get our extra clue. Let's draw our extra card. We're gonna get our extra land. So I guess we just take 6 here. So they need to have exactly another mana leak. They don't. Just living our best life here. Living our best life. The dead are here. It's my opponent's last card. Sure, card. If we find another bounce land, then what we can do. Okay, that doesn't do anything. So I guess I am gonna bounce a bounce land. Gives me more options. We should see my opponent cycle an end step here. There he goes. If I play extra, can you make Battles look like a robot boner? You mean a Raboner? Raboner, right? Right, chat? Right? My opponent is at 28, and they could not be any more dead. Like, they could try to be more dead, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. This guy. Oh, I could have made a zombie and I forgot. It's no big deal. We are mighty fine. About to go for an O in this league. Stop, don't do that. Yeah, I know. Opponent, please, don't. Please, don't do that. It would be so bad if you were to do that. These are my zombies, opponent. How do you like them? Oh, you were talking about the monochrome? Wow, you're not... Ugh. You folks can be such a tough audience, so sometimes. Such a tough audience. I guess it would be 4 mana to cast this Explorer. I mean, I'm not using the mana for anything else. Every time we bounce a different bounce land to keep my opponent guessing, you know? Turn 2 Damping Sphere. How could I ever win anymore? There we go. For a no. Which honestly, it's the best way to get our 4-1, which is going to be the final record, right? Because the record is always 4-1, right? We know that. We know that. You know what? We know that the record is going to be 4-1. But if we're going to 4-1, going for a no and losing the last round, it is the signature move. A classic Francisco play. Such a classic Francisco play. 80% emote win. Maybe I should be thinking into. I should talk to Ivan about that one. This is tasty. You don't have a shoutout command? How do we do that? Because I saw Caleb D had a shoutout command. Who else had a shoutout command? I've seen multiple people have the shoutout command, and I don't. I guess MTG bot does it, so I should configure it into MTG bot. Do your job, mods. Come on. Mod it up. Mod it up. Innistrad. Funny. My opponent has a 2020 inverter thing. Pioneer Showcase Prestige. This hand cannot win unless we draw exactly at bounce land. We only have 2 draw steps for that, so I'm just gonna ship it. This hand's good though. This hand fucks. And I think I'm gonna be a little bit greedy. I'm gonna be a little bit greedy and bottom one of my turn timbers. Definitely there's an argument for bottoming the Azusa instead. But the problem for that is that if we're playing against a discard or counterspell deck and they counter my Explore, then we're super far behind. So this just seems like let's play around Remand instead of Mana Leak. Fuck. Let's play around Remand instead of Mana Leak. Immediately get Mana Leaked. Damn it. Got your drum videos, by the way. I'll hit you up next week to see your... Oh yeah, sounds good, Boom Forest, yeah. Let me know. Cover naming artifact. Can you imagine that? That would be real nice. Typing not my strong suit, yeah. It happens. It happens. Typing is not for everybody. So best case scenario here is my opponent kind of cryptic bounces my Sanctuary, which would effectively mean that they just wasted a cryptic. Spell Queller. That's a card that my opponent's playing. Okay. Definitely surprised by that. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to play this out, naming Giant and pass the turn. We're showing our weakness, which is the fact that we're missing land drops, but... Omnath. There it is. I mean, if we find an untap source, I think we might be in fine shape. But we don't have that much time, though. That's not an untapped source. So I think we're gonna lose now. That was the key turn, and I got punished for what I said at the beginning of the match, right? Like I could have held on to that turn timber, and we wouldn't be missing land drops, but I chose to do something that honestly seemed reasonable, right? Like I held on to, and we ended up playing against the counterspell deck, so even more so. Like it was even, I still think it was correct for me to hold on to the bounce land, to the yeah, we are super fucked now. And for me to hold on to the other card, for me to hold on to the Azusa, but you know, we had 30, yeah, we had 30 draws. 30 draws that would have been great. And we had exactly one draw that would punish us. And we somehow found the one draw that would punish us instead of the 30 ones that would have been fine. Just, you know, just classic variance. Losing game 1 against this deck is absolute disaster also, because games 2 and 3 are a lot harder to win because of Aether Gust. So we're just experiencing the absolute worst case scenario. Yeah, okay, I'm just gonna pack it in. I just simply cannot. I just cannot 5-0. Like, that's just not a thing that I can do. Somehow, I do not have the possibility of 5-0 in a league. Let's bring in 1 explosives, which I do think it's very bad, but it's an answer to Ashiok. It really is tilting though, you know, making a decision that is correct, but then just getting punished by the 1 outer. It just feels bad. At least I'm not throwing. I mean, I guess I threw a 3 and 2. Renan ticks. No value for you. No value for you, Mr. Renan 6. Cleansing Wildfire. Again, looking for any untapped land over here. Does that mean that I'm cycling this relic? I think that means that I'm cycling this relic, actually. Yep, I think so. Brutal. Brutal. Abso-fucking-brutal. Don't I like the new update? Yeah, I know. ¿Cierto que tú eres el creador del Mass Winning White Titan? Sí, es cierto. Name Giant. Alright, Relic got an insane amount of value there. We might get gusted here. What is new? Not too much. Just living the primetime life, which is the best life. And we do not play the land, I don't think. That sucks. Alright, so now my opponent's gonna hit every other land drop from here on. Still think it was correct to do this, but oh. Hase. Chase plus. So that snap resolved, right? So I have to assume that we're good to go here. Yep. We are good to go. What version of Titan am I playing right now? See for yourself. I'm thinking of cutting Stacy. Because on the draw, if I go turn 1 Stacy and my opponent goes turn 2 Ren, that's just not going to be possible to come back from. So I'm just going to play a Grazer instead. I could play a Dismember or a Summoner Spect, but... Alright, game 3 for the 5-0. Everything on the line, like an actual trophy is on the line here, chat, so... Has Primal Command has come up for you yet? Yeah, it has been actually super good. It has been super good. We played against Sodek earlier, and the 7 life allowed me to win the race against them. We had that. It has come up against Ashiok, where I put Ashiok on top of my opponent's deck, and then I search for a Titan. It has come up... I shuffled my own graveyard against Mill in order to win a game 1. What else? I don't remember what else, but it actually has come up multiple times. This hand is sketchy. This hand is sketchy air. There we go. Keep that. Bottom this. Bottom Grazer. Gross. Am I playing this? I think I'm not playing this, because if I draw Explorer, I can play this into play land and actually draw some cards. Same reasoning. And we're playing again. We're playing around the other thingy here. The one that destroys my land and makes me go fetch a basic. Can't remember the name of the card. Very smart from my opponent not cracking there. Has Azusa been good? Yes, Azusa is excellent. Do not leave home without her. Has Streaming Regime come? Actually, yes. Not only has it come up, but it has literally come up back to my hand. Like, I played it, and it actually has come up back to my hand. It's been great. Switch to AmuLIT in September after 2 years of blue-white Jeskai Bant control, and man, it feels good to have a big brain deck that actually win before your skull melt. Dry plus Titan makes your opponents go brr. Yeah, it's a fun deck. Sure. Like, that's obviously not great for me, but... Like, I'm probably going to have to pact for a Sousa here. Okay. I'm just going to cycle Relic. So if I pact for Azusa, I lose to Cryptic command? I don't lose to the other thing. I don't lose to Cleansing Wildfires, but I do lose to Cryptic. I do lose to Cryptic. My opponent used one Cryptic already. The problem is if I don't play into Cryptic now, I'm still kind of getting owned by Cryptic anyway. Yeah, that's my point. That's my point, Dom, exactly. Like, I feel like if I don't run into Cryptic right now and I really develop and come back, then I think we just have to go for it, actually. I think we actually have to go for it. So we play Radiant Fountain and we play Gruul Turf again. If we play Gruul Turf, we lose to double Cleansing Wildfires though. Or Wildfires snap Wildfires, though they don't really play Snapcaster, so that's not really a concern. I'm trying to think what else we could lose to here. I'm trying to figure out what we could lose to here. Good night, Ali. Thanks for hanging out. You're gonna cry it up. That is the point about, you know, playing this deck well, right? You have to learn when it is correct for you to assume risks and when it's correct for you to play around things. And in this case, I think that it's correct for me to assume a risk. But I'm trying to figure out... I think that we should play Stellaria West here. Because if we play Stellaria West, we only lose to exactly Cryptic. While if we play Gruul Turf... Yeah, no, definitely we play Stellaria West. Because now we play around Field into Wildfire or Double Wildfire or Snapcaster Wildfire. So it is 100% correct for us to do this. So now we lose to exactly Cryptic Command. That's it. The Fairy is fine, it doesn't matter. Like whatever they bounce, we're just gonna recast next turn, so. Also means that we're not dead to Cryptic. Because, no, I guess they can still, because of Omnath, they can still cast the Cryptic if they have it. Clap. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, now that I drew the second Azusa, is I'm going to attack first the Fairy. If my opponent has Queller, maybe they will take the free block here, which means that we get to resolve our Amulet. The Fairy down, sweet. Now we do expose our Amulet because we actually don't care about it too much. We bounce here. Float. If we don't do anything and our Azusa survives, we get to transmute for Cavern. But then if they answer our Amulet, we're kind of screwed. So I think it's better for us to just develop our mana here. We've gained so much life this game. We could have cast a Titan there, but I'm not going to cast a Titan into my opponent's Manalik mana, right? That's just not reasonable. That's a waste of an Aether Gust. I don't like that play at all. The idea, of course, is that they're going to put it back on top, right? But like, it's still a waste. As long as they don't have Beak Teferi, we might be okay. So there's a Gust on top. They bounced Omnath just to draw another card. Kind of a cute play. So they have Gust. They have Gust. So let's lead on Azusa. One. Two. We know that one of their cards in hand is an Aether Gust. But we can't play around Mana Leak if we do this like this. So what I want to do here is I want to Gust and then Bog. But if we run into Mana Leak, that's a disaster. So I think that we're gonna have to do this and force my opponent to use the Gust. It's not like we can play around that card, right? So. No blocks. I think this Azusa is doing a good job for now. Ren is kinda brutal actually. But they don't have a way of drawing the cards, so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So what we can do here, if my opponent Gusts the Titan, we can also Symbiosis, which is pretty wild. That's pretty great actually. Opponent trying to figure out how to best sequence their turn. They're also trying to figure out how much should I care about this Azusa, how much should I... Wait, just gonna cycle an Omnath? Seems like they might just be cycling an Omnath, which would be delightful for us. If they're just cycling Omnath, that shows some serious weakness. They have Ren too? Yeah, they have Ren, okay. So Ren gets back, probably a Triumph. Yep. Ren is indeed pretty messed up. So they decide to go for the Triumph instead of... Okay. The shock might not mean anything. It's basically they're 30, like it's free for them to shock, so the shock might not mean anything. But they only have mana for one cryptic command. But if they have Gust plus Leak, that is the worst case scenario. Look what we drop decked. So lucky. Gust plus Mana Leak or double Mana Leak are the two things that I'm the most scared of. But if this is just a Gust, we're Gucci. Okay, that definitely shows some serious weakness. Let's go. Yes. Let's fucking go. So we have 3 different lands. I guess I fucked up, right? I should have left the red mana just in case this resolved. Yeah, I fucked up here. So we're just gonna have to go with field plus growth chamber. Yeah, that was potentially a big punt. No, I don't think we're out of the woods just yet. There are a couple of good things that happened though. Number 1, obviously our Titan resolved, which is obviously a good thing. Number 2, we get to slow down the Ren engine. Number 3, we have another Titan waiting in the wings. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They have 10 damage. So we're not dead to cryptic as is. Path my Titan. Makes sense. Makes me feel really smart for not going for it. Their engine, exactly. You get me, Blubber. You get me. You see what I'm trying to do here. Yeah, we still do have access to Turn Timber, which is nice. This is a tight game. This is a tight game. I threw a wrench in their engine. Wow. Doubling down on the bad joke. I love it. I love it. I'm laughing just like that right now. Just inside, you know. Alright, what do you got, opponent? Is this a Hase? Big Teferi. Big Teferi means big problems. Yep. Big Teferi means big problems. Big Teferi means big fucking problems. Udo, I'm not too concerned about. No land drop is huge. Only 2 mana. When I start here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. This time around, we're going for it. Because this guy just puts too much pressure on us. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm considering turn Timbering right here, right now. But if I want to do that, I want to do that before combat. I don't think we need more zombies. But I'm looking for a Dryad here. Give me something. So this means that we're good to go then. So we throw everything at the ferry. My opponent's going to throw all 3 of these in front of here, and then we should be good to go. I'm wondering if I need more zombies. I don't think I do. So attack, Teferi, all of these cards. Hey, it's back! Teferi, 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 Teferi. Okay, the attack all button is back. Everything's right with the world. So I backed it this turn. So that suggests to me that my opponent has some form of Wrath. Yeah, that's I think the best block, like they can't save the Teferi, so that is the best block. Just get rid of my Titan. So now we kill their Teferi. We can only make 4 mana here. So we're going to, I think we're going to transmute and we're going to pact right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, we have more than enough mana, I think. So this plays around Spell Queller, Force the Vigor, etc, etc, etc. So we're gonna transmute. Pact. Gonna pact right now. Gonna find Primeval Titan and we're gonna pass the turn. There's also the fact that my opponent needs to beat the zombies on board, right? Yeah, I guess they could have saved Omnath. They could have saved the Teferi, I guess. Their value in the Omnath higher than the Teferi, which honestly might be wrong. Oh, we're just gonna have 6 here because my opponent has the Fund Traveler. Turek Patel 10, thank you for the follow. Do you ever get Boil playing this deck? Very rarely. It's just pretty easy to play around Boil, more often than not. So my opponent can get back Uro this turn if they want to. Yeah, by sacrificing the Teferi. They played their land, though. Just a casual 35. They don't get Uro, we bug them. Yeah, they kind of have this turn to get Uro. Oh. Well, that's a problem. Felipe Bento, thank you for the follow. No, there are plenty of lists that are playing Time Warp, but this is the first time that we see Time Warp in this match. We played 3 full games and we have not seen Time Warp just yet, so... Felipe, Brasil! Bem-vindo! Bem-vindo pelo stream. Estou jogando pouco de AmuLIT Titan in Modern. No moderno. Pouco? Un po'. Un po' o un pouco? Não recordo. Anyway. Moderno best formato. O melhor. O mais grande do mundo. O mais grande do mundo. Wow. We might lose here. In fact, we might have lost already because of the Ren emblem. So they need to find Cryptic and we're dead. Modern the Pelé of Magic formats, basically. Life is so unfair, chat. Don't let people misguide you and tell you that life isn't fair, because that's simply not true. That is simply not true. I am definitely blocking this dude so fast. You have no idea. Okay, so we know that one of the cards in hand is a land. That seems like enough. So I guess they just have to... Now they take infinite turns because of the Ren emblem. But they still need to kill me in time. Or unless they have a Cryptic, obviously, right? Yeah, the clock is the only win condition that we have left. But my opponent has successfully assembled the combo. Which makes me so very sad. Which makes me so very sad. I mean, I think we played it right. It's just, you know, there wasn't really that much that we could do because of how the whole thing played out. Their deck is the most ambitious crossover since you played AmuLIT with Vials. That's funny. That is pretty funny. You're at 51 too, which is really funny. And I didn't think that I was going to need all of these zombies, but I guess I am. And I'm going to die with this Vesuva that could have been a third field. But my opponent... I mean, obviously I would have played this differently, right? I would have obviously played this game differently if I knew that my opponent was playing Time Warp. But I literally never saw the Time Warp until the actual last match. Last game, actually. They might have a removal spell here. Maybe not. Can you get their opponent? The race! The race is real. Race with the clock! All right. Not the cleanest way to get a 5-0, but It is a fiber. We don't get those very often. We don't get those very often. That was cool though. That was cool. That was cool. What did we play against? We played against Dredge. No big surprises there. What was this? We played against. That was fun. Yeah, Nick. GG's. You played it very well, by the way. Hiding the tech until the very last game. Because I would have definitely played it differently. If I had known that you had time warp. Like I ended the game with a Vesuva in my hand, right? And the Vesuva could have copied one of my other fields. But you were very smart in hiding the tech until the very last game of the match. But yeah, I think I like this list. I think I do like this list. The Primal Command has been pretty impressive overall, honestly. The Primal Command has been pretty impressive. The split between Asusar and Gracer, I think it's fine. I think I've been liking it. Kenpochi with the 2 sub, 15 months. Thank you so much for the continued support, Kenpochi. I really appreciate it. Definitely took a bit too long during the mid game. It cost me. Yeah. You started. I feel like it really. It was game 2. It was sorry. The like in between in game 3, where there were some very key turns. But yeah, I mean that's kind of the problem that you're running into. It's the same as. There are some decks that just because of the nature of Magic Online, you're kind of running into issues. Like the Green-White Heliod deck is a good example. Like that deck just, you just cannot. If your opponent doesn't want to concede, which they don't have to concede to you either, right? If they don't want to concede, you are just stuck. Like you have infinite life, but you don't really. And when you're playing a Neuro control deck or something like that, you kind of have a little bit of the same. In that, like, everything that you're doing is just very, very powerful, but you're also taking so many game actions. And even Uro is such a slow card to win, even though it swings for 6, but like the trigger takes a long time to resolve, and there's kind of like not too much way around it. Hate losing to time, but also enjoy the challenge since it forces you to learn the deck you play. Yeah, exactly. Like, that's why I never time out with this deck. It's because that's why I set up everything in my keyboard to make sure that everything is very, very, very comfortable to the way that I'm used to playing. But you can just go like click, click, click. When you see me play, like I don't hesitate too much, right? Like once I know what my play is, my execution is very often, pretty very quick, which is definitely an important skill in MTGO specifically. Or experience playing slow as decks and moto, so yeah, exactly. It's part of what you're signing up for, but it's cool. Yeah, that Omnath deck looks. Every time I play against it, it just looks so messed up. My list is definitely not ready for the Omnath deck by any means. Does anyone know why I can trade? Are the trades for some? Yeah, Martinez, it's a Magic Online issue. Magic Online is having some issue with the trades, so before I started off the stream, they were fine. Like, in fact, I got these from Mana Traders, but currently the trades are disabled. But yeah, so what was I talking about? Oh yeah, there's this list, which I have been happy with. I kind of want to make room for the 4th castle. And maybe the way to make room for the 4th castle is with the second, cutting the 2nd Valakut. I don't think that this is written in stone by any means. It's just that I feel like in some matchups, like if I don't play this in the main deck, I feel like I would want to be playing it in the sideboard, even though it might be weird. But like against humans and like decks like that, there are some decks where you would rather naturally find the Valakut, right? So that is the only argument that I have for that card. Arkish the Hound, thank you for the follow. What are you going to plan for the Euro decks? Well, I mean, we saw how insane Relic was that match, right? That game 3, Relic was ridiculous. It slowed down my opponent so hard, and it's just like a 1-mana thing that it just sits there and you just tap it every turn. And so this is the card that has felt the best against the Euro decks. That's not Boil. Obviously, Boil would be the best card that I would play. But the whole point of this list is that I don't want to be splashing any colors. So every card is green or Dismember. Or colorless, I guess. But Relic seems like the best answer for that matchup. In the past, it used to be Tracker. I don't think that's the case anymore, because I don't think that Tracker does a good job at keeping up with Omnath, nor Uro for that matter. I could see cutting the second Bailoth. Which could make room for something like a fourth Relic, a third Dismember. Like there's different cards that I'm interested in trying out. But I have enjoyed the main deck a lot. I do like the main deck a lot. Fourth Castle is the only thing. But besides that, I have enjoyed the main deck a lot. Casting Builder has never really impressed me. I mean, to be fair, like we played against Blue-Red Prowess earlier today, and Bailoth was insane, right? But I mean, that's why it's there. What's the point of not splashing? Good question. Is so you can play 4 turn Timbers. Because if I were splashing, this would be a Breeding Pool. And this would be a Stomping Ground. So by not splashing, we get to play the full 4 turn Timbers. And we also get to play 5 basics instead of 4, which I think is particularly impressive against the Wildfire decks, against the Field of Ruin decks, and against the Path to Exile decks, obviously. And not even mentioning the Blood Moon decks, right? Like you just have access to one more basic. Like, and whenever you draw your basics against the control decks and stuff, it's not as bad, you know? Ever consider Weather over Bailoth? Also, why not Veil of Summer? 2 different questions. Number 1, Weather over Bailoth. No, I cannot pact for Weather the Storm. I can pact for Bailoth. So, no, I have not considered it. Also, Weather the Storm means it's not that good of a card. unless you're playing 3 of them or something like that, or at least the least 2, and I'm not willing to devote that many cyber slots to that. The second question, what was it? I missed it. Oh, why not Veil of Summer? Because the card that you lose to is Aethergust, and Veil of Summer doesn't do anything against Aethergust. That's the answer. Omnath is almost completely a poof cheese deck that plays at Sorcery Speed at this point. They do play Cryptics. We actually saw the Cryptic in both games 2 and 3. Why nobody else is running one of Root Snare in the side like me? Do you need me to answer that question, Cool Cat? All right, what other questions do we have? Oh, busted one, yeah, exactly. ¿Prefieres AmuLIT que Toolbox? Tengo muchas dudas con el side de Toolbox, sobre todo con las relics, gracias. Está dispo, te respondo en español porque me preguntaste en español, pero en este momento me parece que me gusta más AmuLIT, pero no por mucho. O sea, me parece que podría jugar Green White seguro. A mí en lo personal no me gustan mucho las relics en el sideboard de Reclaimer. Prefiero jugar los Boils, pero las relics andan muy bien también, así que si quieres jugar relics andan bien. So the question was, what do I prefer, AmuLIT or Green White Toolbox? And I think I prefer AmuLIT right now, as of this week, which might change in 2 days. But right now I feel like AmuLIT has a better shot against some of the like the Tron style stuff. It has a reasonable shot against the Omnath decks. Even though I like Green White's matchup against Omnath a lot better than AmuLIT's. And I do like Green White's matchup against Upsol spells better than AmuLIT's as well. But AmuLIT is just the better deck, right? AmuLIT is just the better deck. But it's just a matter of Green White can be the better. They just have different matchup percentages. So depending on the matchups that you see, that are, the matchups that are picking up, if Reclaimer is better against those, you just play Reclaimer, and then vice versa. Also, Reclaimer is a lot more flexible, right? It has less absolutely bad matchups, and it's better against the removal, against the decks that you want removal. Like this deck has no removal in the main deck. The only removal is like Dryad plus Valakut, which is not bad removal, but like if your opponent names Meddling Mage on Dryad and they Meddling Mage on Primetime, like that's it. Like you're done. There's literally nothing that you can do. You're just locked out of the game. You just have to win through naturally drawing your field and making tokens. So it's not great in that sense. While Reclaimer, like if they do that, you just pass the Meddling Mage, or you just kill them with just like Reclaimer. Like you just have so many more. It's so much harder to hate out, basically. At this point, I feel like I have beaten Blood Moon more with Windward Reclaimer than I have lost to it. Which is a bold statement, but I firmly believe that it's true. Before you go to bed, I wanted to ask, was it bad when I bounced your bounce land and drew with Cryptic early game 3? Yeah, I remember that, Nick. So, I don't know what the rest of your hand was, but that kind of play is only good if you have a plan. Like, just bouncing and drawing because, you know, I'm not going to use my mana in anything else. That Cryptic could have, been what, what would have sped up your win by a lot, right? Because you just tap my team and you attack. Like, it's just so easy. So the thing is that if you're going to be doing that, you need to have a plan. So if your plan is bounce your dude and then like slam it a fairy, or slam an Omnath or something on the untap. Because the point of doing that is just a tempo play. You want to give yourself one free turn to do something impactful and then go. But if you're just hoping to make me stumble, that is just not going to play out that well, basically, right? Because I just one Azusa and I'm just back in, right? Which is what ended up happening, right? I just backed it for Azusa, and then I just was back in the game because I just made all my land drops again. So you kind of need to have a reasonable plan. If you are gonna do something like that, it's just like, okay, so I have this one turn where I can do my nonsense, and I need to really pull ahead in that turn in order to for the Cryptic to be worth it. So I hope that answers the question. Anyway, what else we got? Vuk's list has only 2 mana leaks and 2 Cryptics as well as 3 guys in the board. The Time Warp versions have fewer counter spells. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because they're more set up for the mirror, I think. I think that's the point of the whole Time Warp thing. It's harder to interact with. Always hate playing versus AmuLIT with Tron. Yeah, because Tron is just a really good matchup for AmuLIT. It's just, we're doing the same thing, and our thing is just better, and our thing, while doing it, interacts with the Tron thing. So AmuLIT is just very, very favored in that matchup, I think. I feel like I break less using AmuLIT, but to be honest, I'm not very used to Reclaimer deck, so I have no valid viewpoint on which is better. Yeah, it's not a matter of better or worse. It's a matter of context. Yeah, good games in Xrad. What else? Yeah, I used to have the 1E in the main deck. Right now it's in the sideboard because I'm making room for the Primal Command. The idea of this version of the deck, I'm trying to be like Turbo Titan, right? Just Mono Titan, just trying to make the most amount of castles. And that's why I want to play the 4th copy of Castle, basically. It's because I want to be Turbo Titan and I want to make sure that I'm doing the Titan thing the best that I can. Next time in English for the comment. Yeah, Tadispo, anytime. Usually when people ask me a question in Spanish, I just answer back in Spanish. Since I had to make a choice, do I buy my decks online or in paper? You can only answer that questions for yourself, Cool Cat. Personally, I do enjoy playing in paper a lot more than I enjoy playing online, but I do play online like a million times more than I play in paper. Even without the quarantine and everything, I would play online a lot more than I would play in paper. Even before I started streaming, that's the whole point that I got into Magic Online, right? Oh, you did make the choice already? Oh yeah. Okay, the secret of getting a 5-0 is going 3-2 the first league to stay at 80%. But I went 2-3, Kenpachi. It was bad. Boil isn't good actually. No, Boil is amazing, but the whole point of this list that I built here is because I don't want to splash and I want to make my mana as consistent as possible. How have I been liking the 2/2 Graces card split? I have been loving it. Buen Nueve. You're missing some points against the decks where, well, either one of these is good, but you gain. I feel like you gain those points in sideboarding. So against like prowess decks, you just cut your stasis, and you are still left with 2 Gracers, which are great to draw. Against like the control decks, you cut your Gracers, and you still have your stasis, which are great to draw, etc. I have reclaimed an AmuLIT paper, but only have AmuLIT online. Okay, that's fair. Yeah, for sure. The good thing of playing online, Cool Cat, is that if you do some winning, then you just, just buy all the decks. That's what I've been doing. Like, the decks just pay for itself as long as you have a positive win rate. So that is the cool thing of playing online. It's a lot more liquid in that sense. Like, you can just get the cards like this, and you can sell the cards like this, and you can also use rental services like Mana Traders and stuff. Did sell my AmuLIT online? Can I have to play another? Oh, Musa, we will miss you forever in the AmuLIT world, but your Niv mastery has taken you to greener pastures. Alright folks, I think that covers all the questions from chat. It was nice to end up on a 5-0. Feels good to get a trophy after literally months. I think my last trophy was from October like 2 or something like that. So it was over a month since the last time I got a trophy in Modern. So it definitely feels good to have one. But that's gonna be it for me today. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. And I will see you tomorrow for some Know Thy Enemy. Yeah, Know Thy Enemy. I think I'm interested in playing the blue black Ursa deck, the blue black Ursa, blue black Narset deck, the one that Canister has been doing well with. So I might try that out. If somebody suggests something more interesting, I will take that into account as well. But that is my winner as of right now. But yeah, thank you so much. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and I will see you in the next stream. Bye bye.